Hello, and welcome to English Easily. My name is Professor Winnie. It's a beautiful evening here in Second Life. The sun is setting and the crickets are singing. In Chapter 1, we were introduced to the immigrant Arturo and his dreams of bringing his family from Mexico. He is trying to assimilate to his new country and is doing everything possible to avoid any complications to his legal residency. In this next chapter, he will confront the complexities of the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS. The IRS is the government agency that deals with the annual income tax forms that all Americans must file to determine how much they will be taxed for that particular year. In this story, the names of the various divisions of the IRS are preposterous and fictional. Don't attempt to look up these names in a dictionary because they don't really exist. So, let's return to our story as Arturo discovers that America is a very complicated place.
Arturo had just returned to the residential hotel with his bag of very American groceries. He put the hamburger helper, white bread, already sliced, and lime jello on the table and read the letter. It was from the Internal Revenue Service and contained an income tax refund check for $161.38. He examined the copy of his tax form that he kept in a shoebox. It clearly stated that he owed $161.38. He knew he owed that amount and had waited until the last minute before he mailed it. Early the next morning, he went to talk with the skinny woman at the legal aid office. She had helped him prepare his tax statement, and she would know the answer. Let's see, Ramos, Arturo. Yeah, here it is. Yep, you owe $161.38. In a nasal tone, she added, "Now, I hope I'm not going to have to explain the entire law to you again. Even though you didn't make much money, the new tax law, MR 1174, states that aliens with dependents abroad fall into a higher tax bracket. I hope you're not going to complain to me. I don't make the laws. The President of the United States and those guys in Washington make the laws." Humbly and politely, Arturo explained that he wasn't complaining. He just didn't know what to do with the refund that had accidentally been mailed to him. "Do whatever you want, really, Mr. Gomez. Sorry, Mr. Ramos. Listen, I'm very busy." And with that, she picked up a ringing telephone. As usual, the advice from Dandy that afternoon was straightforward. Cash the sucker. That's what I do. Arturo, don't be no chump. "I don't want to be no champ, Dandy. I just want to stay away from the trouble," Arturo said. "What I gonna do?" Dandy stroked the stubble on his chin, gazed at the ceiling, and then pulled out a small bottle wrapped in a paper bag. He took a slug and said, "One thing I knows about the law, since I've been on both sides of it, if you know what I mean, is that when the man gave you a gift, cash it today and answer the questions tomorrow." He chuckled and then continued mopping up the laundromat floor. Arturo received similar advice from others, but he didn't heed it. It meant everything to him to keep a clean record. The next day he mailed the refund check with a short explanatory note to the IRS district office in Fresno. A week later, the refund check was returned from the IRS. Enclosed was a letter stating that if he had any more questions, he should write the IRS Office of Optional Monitored Capability, St. Louis, Missouri. It took Arturo 2.5 hours of laboring with a dictionary to compose the long letter of explanation that he sent with the refund check to St. Louis. Again, the check was returned with a notation that his letter had been forwarded to the IRS Office of Compatible Incremental Flexibility, Washington, D.C. He tried to phone that office, but his call was transferred to IRS Office of Integrated Reciprocal Contingency. A man answered and told Arturo that his office dealt only with tax assessments of bankrupt farmers. Arturo said he was not a farmer, although he had done some farming in Mexico and had a clean record there. "Then why are you phoning me?" the IRS man asked. Rather suspiciously, Arturo thought. Arturo got panicky and hung up. Later, he received a letter from some IRS office somewhere indicating that refund checks were being expedited as soon as possible. His small dictionary didn't contain the word expedited, but he assumed the worst.